Hi, it's Dr. Lori. I was in the bathroom. Sorry, I was late. I'm the Ph.D. Antiques Appraiser. It's good to see all of you. We're live, of course. And this is time to find out what to look for. You ready? I'm going to teach you what you need to know so you can make money in those thrift stores, antique shops, estate sales, all these places. I'm going to start right here. Are you ready to play? Do you know what questions to ask? What do you ask when you're in these particular places? Oh, and so ask your questions. I want to know your questions about this object. This is the object for tonight. Some of you might recognize it. Some of you may not know it. I want to show you all different sides. The Dr. Lori Cam is in use tonight too. I'll be using that too. You're welcome for sharing my knowledge with all of you. I'm glad you're learning a lot. I'm glad you're having fun. Many of you, I had someone today who actually said to me, Dr. Lori, I'm ready to quit my job because what you've taught me has made me actually make as much money thrifting, sourcing, and reselling using your tips as my salary. She's going to basically move into a whole new world. I'm so happy for all of you. What questions do you have about this object? I'm going to show you with the Dr. Lori Cam. What we've got here in terms of it, so you can have a sense, again, of what we're seeing here. And I want you to be able to see this particular piece. Oh, and then someone said, oh, Dr. Lori, you say particular too much. Well, if I say particular too much, you know what? You're focusing on the wrong thing during my videos. I want you to focus on what's going to make you money, what's going to show you beautiful objects to keep in your home for yourself. So don't worry about particular. Thank you very much for all the super chats and the super stickers. I appreciate them. And I'm going to say thank you to every one of you. Oh, I don't think you need to say thank you to everybody. Yes, I do. It's my channel. I think I should say thank you to everybody. You want to know about weight and clarity. John wants to know about weight and clarity. That's his question. Is it heavy? Yes. Is it clear? Yes. Okay. What other questions have you got? You got to know what to ask. And as you know what to ask, I'm going to show it to you from both sides too, because that's going to be relatively important too. Y'all, thanks, Dr. Lori, for all you do. Who knew learning could be so much fun? Well, Carmen, I'm glad it's so much fun. And I'm going to keep you learning. I'm going to keep you learning so you know what's what. What is it? What do you know about it? Is there a seam? There's no seam, D. You're looking for seams? Okay, there's no seam. Now what do you do? Oh, gosh, Dr. Lori, what are the black dots? The black dots are hand-painted enamel, basically. Every single one of these 240 dots in 10 rows that go from very small to quite large are, in fact, hand-painted. And you can see they're hand-painted if you look at that detail. I'm showing you that detail. If you look at that detail, you can actually see, of course, the way in which this is done by hand and not machine. That's important to note, too. Why? Your hand is not going to be as steady as a machine will be, okay? And that's what you're looking at. What are the dots in the circle pattern? The pattern, in fact, is trying to replicate, just going to go easily here, trying to replicate poppy flowers. Poppy flowers. That's what each one of these look like. And for those of you who know about the history of drugs, you probably know that poppy flowers is, of course, what we typically would have for opium. So poppy, opium, in fact, are from poppy flowers. Is there a mark? There is a mark. There is a very clear mark on this piece, and the mark says Lalique. Lalique, made in France. That's what the mark says. Good questions. Markings or etched? Well, this particular piece, as I said, all of these elements are actually, in fact, done by hand, right? And then the flowers, of course, are done all the way through on this piece. Do you want to know what the piece is? Maybe the question should have been, is it glass? Is it crystal? Is it something else? It's not part of a set. It's one of a kind. There's only one of these. There's only one of these. Now, there are others in this that are made, you know, more than one of them were made, but it is not one of a set, like a tea set or, you know, bowls and such. Okay. Other questions? You're doing great. Do we know how old it is? Yes, I know how old it is. This particular piece was, oh, sorry, I said particular. I'll try not to say particular. This piece was designed in 1929. And it was designed, of course, by Renee Lalique. Thank you, Joshua, for your super sticker. It supports the channel. It helps me to make more videos that will help all of you. Thank you, Big Paw Metals. You gave me an appraisal on a Christian Dior brooch a couple of weeks ago. I sold it on eBay for over $600, making you money. Yay, good for you, good for you. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. Great. Thank you very much for supporting the channel and realizing that what I'm doing with my education is trying to help all of you. Hello, April. Oh, my favorite learning instructor. Thank you very much, April. Thank you for the super chat, the super sticker. A lot of you are finding the objects, having me identify them and appraise them, getting the real information, not the information from these trolls and these yahoos and these other people, but you're getting the real information that will help you, not will help them. Is it a punch bowl? No, it's not a punch bowl, but good question. This bowl would be a bowl that you put in the middle of a table, for example. You might put it in the middle of a table. But let's have a couple teaching moments. Let's teach a couple things. First of all, I want you to notice that the interior elements here, the interior of each flower actually is frosted. The rest of it is actually, of course, a clear crystal, heavy, weighty crystal, beautiful. It's, of course, designed all the way through. I keep rubbing my hand against it so you have a sense. I don't know if you can see how this comes down. There are no seams. How this comes down like that. This is a very nice piece, but in the center of the flower where the petals are, center of the flowers, let me see if I can get my camera where it will help you. There we go. Center of the flowers where the petals are frosted. All the way around the flower is actually clear. It repeats and repeats and repeats. There's 10 rows from here all the way down. And those particular 10 rows are what you're basically seeing here. So 10 rows from here all the way down. And then you actually have each little dot is hand applied. So that's where you have, of course, it could be used for fruit or a centerpiece or just on its own because it is so darn beautiful. It's called the Nemours Bowl. Happy Gardner, thank you so much. I was very happy to, of course, appraise your chair and your pot today. It was nice to see you. I'm glad that you got something really cool. A arts and crafts style chair. It was a little bit later. We talked a little bit about how certain designs can be made later, but bought for a couple of bucks at a thrift store, and it was worth some money. It almost looks like silver. It does look like silver. It's not, of course, it's crystal, but it does have that feel of silver. That's a very good indicator. It shows me that you're educating your eyeballs. You're looking at pieces and you're making assessments of those pieces. Thank you very, very much, Nick. You, of course, can borrow the bowl. It's not from me. We get a lot of course pieces from all different sources for my set, and I appreciate everybody who does that. But thank you very much for the super chat and the super sticker. KNS always supports the channel. She supports it a lot, as does Mick, as do many of you. And I appreciate that very, very much. M. Lemieux, thank you very much. Sounds like Mario Lemieux, right? The great hockey player. Judy, could you imagine a Jell-O mold being done in that? Wow, no, I don't think I'd put Jell-O in this. Right? I don't think I put Jell-O in this. Other questions about it. You know when it was designed. You know that it is indicative of the arts and crafts movement, the Art Deco movement. Why is it Art Deco? Repeated patterns, geometric shapes. In this particular case, it's also, in fact, based on those floral designs that are really popular, and what to look for. What to look for is repeated patterns like this, the clarity and the weight. It's very heavy. I am a strong person. I can lift a lot of things, you know, like both thighs, you know, the fat under my arms, you know, those kind of things. But basically, I can lift this with ease, but it is heavy. It is heavy. So this particular piece is a nice piece. Some of the things I want you to look for, I want you to look for those patterns that will, in fact, attract the eye, because what you're looking at with this circle is sort of circles within circles. So has to do with, again, the idea of the science of it, but it also has to do with that idea of numbers and the way in which we're going down, and we're making it from a large piece down, 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 graduated. This is why we like graduated pearl necklaces. We like graduated, big down to small, as it graduates up or graduates down. Very nice. So this is a lovely piece. It's one that I want you to be able to look for. I want to show you just carefully. Has Dr. Lori released the year or era of the bolt? Were you not listening? I told you that it was designed in 1929. I want to show you one more thing about the bowl. Well, I have the Dr. Lori cam. I want to make sure that I have that. And I want to show you here. Do you see the mark? I don't know if you can see the mark. The mark is right there. It's very, very clear, easy to see. So I want you to be able to see the mark. That's another important aspect of this. So you're all looking for marks, and that's fine. Joshua, I purchased a 1953 Michael Lynn oil and canvas The Hunt for $30 in an estate sale, all because of your help and knowledge. I'm telling you, art's going to make you money. I can teach you what it is. You've got to watch my videos about painting, about prints, about works in frames. I'm going to teach you because artwork has a very good margin. You could buy it low and make money high. So good for you. You're going to be able to do this. For those of you who want to be resellers, for those of you who just want to learn about great art and have it for yourself in your own home, you can do that too. I'm sorry, I missed that last one. Does the pattern stick out inside the bowl? No, actually, the inside of the bowl is all nice and smooth, right? The outside of the bowl is where the pattern has an indentation of each flower. Does that make sense? Is that clear? I hope it's clear. Okay, so what do you think? You learned a little bit about the poppy and the Nemours bowl. The Nemours bowl is named for a place in France, a particular, town named Nemours, and they're known for their poppy candy made from this particular flower. So René Lalique in France decided, you know what, we're going to name this bowl the Nemours bowl for that particular town that is well known for the poppy candies. Okay, and that's how we got the name for this particular bowl. Knowing the history of the objects will help you resell the objects. It will also help you become informed about the history of certain objects and the way these objects become important in the market. In addition, if you don't even care about the market, it's why poppies are important to culture and history, which I talk about a lot. When you know that, of course, everybody loves our Real Bargains videos. Why? Because of the stories. We love to know what the background is. So that's how we got the name for this. That's how we got the idea for this. And these particular graduated geometric shapes are very typical of what you see in the Art Deco period. Other questions? Okay, we got all our questions. Let's guess the value. What do you think it's worth now that I taught you a little bit about what to look for? Look for those contrasting etched, frosted, and clear crystal elements. What do you think it's worth? Are you having fun playing this game? Are you competing with other people? I hope you are. Lots of you are telling me that you love the game, Dr. Lori's Treasure Hunt. It's a lot of fun to play it too. And we play it all the time. I play it, of course, on national TV during the week, and I also play it here with you. So thanks for being with me. Lots of questions. 500, 325, 225, 225, and 350 are way too low. Too low. Okay, couple other guesses. I didn't see too many guesses all that close. 225, way too low. Angie, too low. Too low. Why? Lalique, brand name, like Tiffany. Brand name, important name, right? Fantastic work, indicative of a particular place. What have I been telling you when we talk about travel? I talk about get those objects that relate to the place. This particular piece relates directly to the place. Valerie. Why did I call out Valerie's name? She might be closer. What's it worth? This piece is worth $1,750. A beautiful example and one which many people are looking for. It's about quality. I want you to identify quality. It isn't just any old glass bowl because A, it's not glass. B, it's made by a very important maker. It's based on actual sales records. One like this just sold online, actually, just this week, and then I had seen one that sold about 5 weeks ago for about the same value, also online. So has to be about actual sales records. These people go, oh my gosh, all those values are so high. You are selling in the wrong place. I want you to sell in the right place because when you're informed, you're empowered. I want you to succeed. You're going to succeed. I'm hearing that you're succeeding. People are going, I'm making a solid income. I'm going to leave my job because I'm making my salary. I'm making $4,000 every month on extras. I'm so happy for you. This is great. And we're going to teach you. And playing the games is going to help. Are you winning? Are you beating your family members, your friends who you're playing against? Are you playing online? You know, the gamers love this game too. Dr. Lori's Treasure Hunt, always fun. I'm enjoying it myself. I want to remind you of a couple of things of where I put, of course, specials. So I want you to sign up and subscribe to the newsletter. The newsletter, of course, will give you some of the extras and specials that I offer. Subscribe to the newsletter, which is at my website, which is drloriv.com. drloriv.com. Subscribe to the newsletter. It's easy to find. It says free. And when you see free, click on it. If you see free, you should click on it. So click on it at drloriv.com. Subscribe to the newsletter, and you'll receive, of course, automatic alerts. It's free, just like it says. There's not a charge to, of course, subscribe to the newsletter on the website. And you will get information from me. You'll get all kinds of tips. And of course, you will also get, that's where we'll put our specials. So look for those as well. Now, I want you to understand what to look for. A lot of you are doing a lot of looking at particular types of objects and reselling. Many of you are reselling jewelry, costume jewelry, fine jewelry. So that's fine jewelry with precious metals and precious gemstones or semi-precious gemstones. And some of you, of course, are looking at costume jewelry and realizing that costume jewelry can have a great value as well. So those as well. So you ready for your how much I had to run out of the room? Come on, Mary, where did you have to go? Did you have to go to the bathroom? I was late because of the bathroom, so it's okay if you had to go out of the room. Anyway, I digress. So next piece, here we go. This particular piece is a wonderful example. I know a lot of you, because we are a community, because all of you guys help each other, I know a lot of you will tell Mary how much this piece was because she had to go out of the room. Okay, here we go. You see this? I want you to take a look at it. Of course, this is a bracelet. It's going to go like this, right? Got these two elements here. I'm coming with the Dr. Lori. How much fun. Lori Disney, you're so much fun. I hope you're walking around in your own power. So basically what you've got here, this particular piece, right? I know this. Oh, I love jewelry. I love jewelry too. I think it's the bling. It must be the bling. Makes you happy, right? Okay. Is it marked? Candido wants to know, is it marked? This particular piece is not marked. So now you got to work at it. Now you got to work at it. And you go, why? Well, if it's marked, it's a little bit easier. Is it a snuff bracelet? No, it's not a snuff bracelet. There's no drugs inside. I know you were thinking about the poppy and the opium, and I get it. That makes sense. So let's take a good look. Let's take a good clean look. Are you enjoying the Dr. Lori can? I know you love it. And I love my staff for putting it together for you. Okay, here we go. With the Dr. Lori cam, got this piece. I got to get my fingers out of the way. Oh, not even on the piece. There we go. All right. Do you see it? I want to show it to you from this angle so you get a good look. Now, I want to show you what to look for. That's what the Dr. Lori cam is all about. Notice how there is a half spherical or half globe-like black element at the top. It looks like black onyx. It could be black jet. What's your question? Is it Art Deco? It is not Art Deco. The style is not Art Deco either. So it is the black element molded? The black element is molded. Okay. Then there is a gold, yellow gold area element, right there. And then you see the areas that are basically silver. Okay. A silver color. Do you see all of that? And someone asked me if it's white gold. It is not white gold. So now you have to ask yourself, okay, you know what it's not? What is it? And that's really where appraisals come in. You know, you need to get a correct identification of the piece, right? You need to know a correct identification of the piece. So you've got that piece, you're looking at it and you're saying to yourself, all right, so now that I'm off the Dr. Lori cam, oh, we can keep it up if you like. Is it silver? No, it is not silver. It is not silver. It is silver tone, which is a term that a lot of people use in costume jewelry. So those of you who know about costume jewelry will say, okay, it's a silver toned metal. Is it plated? Yes, it is plated. Oh, okay. So what does that mean? That means that the electroplating process has taken place on top of a base metal or an inexpensive, cheap metal on this particular piece. What other questions do you have for me? What do you think? Are you wondering about whether or not these elements are applied or are they all cast together? Is it all cast as one piece or is it cast in pieces? So here's what I want you to look for. And this is the kind of information that you can't get other places. People are showing you, oh, this is pretty and I like the color and oh, this is nice. And that's fun for what it's worth. But if you want to know what to find out, you've got to ask the expert. You've got to ask the expert. Thank you, Edward, for the super sticker. I appreciate that. And the expert's going to teach you, I'm going to teach you what to look for. So a couple of things I want you to look for on this particular bracelet. If you had this bracelet, okay, I want you to look right under there. I don't want to get too close. With the Dr. Lori cam, I want you to look right under there. And I want you to be able to see the fact that this particular piece is all cast as one. So it goes into that area, right? So this area under here, wait a second, I don't want to drop the Dr. Lori cam. So if you get under this area right under here as this rope twirled element, right? This semicircular element is going to go around your wrist. As it goes in, it actually is cast all in one piece. And these are all cast in one piece too, right? So the large knobs or the large beads and then the smaller beads, which are the gold, yellow gold beads, right? But the silver is all done in and of itself. So that means that what you have is you have overlay for the gold as well as overlay for the silver, or in fact, what you were talking about with respect to plating. Now, these areas right here, this area right here, which is the, if I can do that, okay, which is the black area, can you see the reflection? If you can see the reflection, you usually can't see reflection in onyx, and you usually can't see reflection in jet. Oh my gosh, Dr. Lori, game changer. That's a game changer. Why? You can see the reflection usually in a molded plastic like Bakelite, like composition matter, or you can also see it if you have a piece of glass. That will help you a lot, because when you see that, you can say to yourself, okay, I'm understanding this. So we know it's costume jewelry, right? We know it is, in fact, plated. We know it's also overlay. That's the gold. We usually use the term like plated. It could be gold plated and silver plated, right? Plated on what type of metal? A base metal. What's a base metal? Inexpensive metal, usually an alloy, a strong metal, like durable copper, or it could be also lead. It could be those kinds of metals, very inexpensive in a foundry environment. This one could have been put through a centrifuge as well. You still with me? That's too new for Bakelite. This particular piece is new, that's true. But when you're trying to look for reflection, Bakelite will reflect, okay? Especially in this kind of element. Plastic will typically reflect, and so will, of course, glass. Do you think it's Bakelite? Do you think it's plastic? Do you think it's glass? And these are the questions you're supposed to be asking. This particular piece is not stainless steel. Not heavy enough. Okay, so we know it's plated. It's from the 1980s. Good question. Very good. It is not Brighton. Brighton is typically made, Chinese pieces are made and distributed through Brighton. Actually, I've known those folks who own Brighton for quite some time. And those particular folks and those particular pieces, many of them are made in China. And then those pieces, some of them are in fact similar to this, but this is not a Brighton piece. Other questions? What do you think? Do you like it? You think it's a knockoff? A knockoff of what? I think it's a knockoff too. Of what? Do you know which designer they're trying to knock off? Thank you, Janice, for the super sticker. Janice knows that the information, just like all of you who are giving super stickers and super chats tonight, they know that this information is going to help you. Because I'm giving you, as I always say, news you can use. Here's the information that you can use. It is not Napier. Who are they trying to knock off? Any idea? The end does not screw off. The end does not move at all. It's all one piece. It's all one piece. Sarah Coventry. It's not Sarah Coventry. They are trying to knock off David Yurman. They're trying to knock off the very famous, of course, fine jewelry designer, David Yurman. Irene knows. David Yurman is who they're trying to knock off. So that's what we're seeing here. That's right. It's a David Yurman knockoff. So now what happens is, if David Yurman were not as popular and in the market and has such a grasp of the market for pieces like this, this is quintessentially David Yurman when you see it. Why? What's characteristic of Yurman? The rope, the beads with the rope. And these are the kinds of traits that you need to learn when you are looking at any type of jewelry, okay? Because these are the traits that are going to be able to help you. If you were to say, if you're going to list this piece and say, I'm going to list this knockoff bracelet, guess what? It's not going to help. But if you put in it's a representative of a David Yurman style bracelet, all of a sudden people who are looking for these pieces and looking up these keywords are going to connect with your listing. These are the sales tips that I want to give you, right? Not just these other tips that everybody knows, but these are the sales tips that you really need. The identification is key. And it's key because I can teach you what to look for. Okay, so that's what you have with this particular piece of jewelry. Don't forget, of course, I want to teach you what you can use. This particular piece is a nice piece. It's a very good knockoff, in fact. This particular knockoff is one that is actually an American, what we would call style of David Yurman. So somebody realizes that this particular piece is pretty good. Okay, let's guess the value. What do you think? Dr. Lori's Treasure Hunt. If you saw this in a thrift store, if you saw this in an antique shop, if you saw this somewhere, would you say, wow, I know what this is? 20 bucks. 20 bucks is a little low for this. This is pretty well made, even though it is not, of course, a knockoff. Remember, it is plated. It is plated, so there's some, a very, very little amount, but there is some, of course, metal there. That's nice metal. It's relatively heavy. Could you get 150 for it or 120, Paige? Paige was saying 120. She's thinking, yeah, you know, it's pretty nice. There are many people who prefer to have this than to have the real David Yurman on their wrist. I'm not one of those people, but there are these people who say, you know what? I'm afraid I'm going to lose the David Yurman that's $3,000 for this, right? What do you think it's worth? Any ideas? Oh, someone's like, no, I want the David Yurman, or no, I want the costume. Costume jewelry is so popular. It's so popular for so many reasons. It has so many great elements to it. It really, really stands the test of time. Again, and you're not making the big investment that you might be making with some more. I like those of you who are thinking in that 75 to 150 range. I like it a lot. Those of you who are saying 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks, if you were to hold it in your hand, you wouldn't say 20 bucks. Thank you, Taylor, for the super chat and the super stickers. I appreciate it. And I appreciate it because you're helping the channel stay alive. You're also helping the channel when you share it. It's just as important to share it. So you wouldn't pay $125 for $150 because maybe you know what to look for and you don't have to pay that. But there are lots of people who are able to pay between $75 and $150 for this particular piece. What do I think it's worth? Ready? It's worth $85. It's a nice piece. It's nice and heavy. It's a wonderful, again, based on actual sales records, it's a wonderful example. And if you look all around the internet, if you look online to see what these pieces are selling for, in places like Poshmark, in places like Ruby Lane, in places like, of course, eBay and Etsy and other of those jewelry stores, you're going to really find them. You're not going to find this on the Real because that's where the David Yurman's going to be. You're not going to find this on some of those estate, again, reseller estate jewelry sites, because this particular piece, while it's a nice piece, could be an estate piece, it's a typical piece that you're going to see more so in the costume jewelry arena than you are in the fine art jewelry arena. So great piece, really fun, lots of that. Today I had a wonderful day doing video calls, talking to folks about all different things, and talking a lot about art and a lot about glass. I appraise a lot of wonderful glass too. So Mystery said you would have underpriced it. It's good to know. Well, you have to look at the quality of the piece. And once you identify the quality of the piece, then you can say, oh, okay, I can see why someone's paying $85 for this particular piece. That's a nice piece. And because of the Yurman connection, people are looking for it. But what the information that's really good about this is, don't forget about the reflective quality of some of these compositional materials, these materials that are being utilized on these pieces, how they reflect. That's going to help you when you're looking, of course, at these thrift stores, or when you're going through some of these pieces, or when you're going through the jewelry jars. A lot of you are buying the jewelry jars or the jewelry boxes, and you're getting a box for, I don't know, 30 bucks or something, plus shipping or something, and you're finding these pieces, and as you're going through, you're saying, oh, that's nothing, oh, that's nothing. Look for those certain kind of traits or characteristics that I'm teaching you right here. I want you to know what to look for. I want you to understand it. The Pilsner glasses on the table, I thought you might like those. I like these too. I think these are really kind of cool. Nice color at the bottom here. A lot of you love glass. Of course, a nice amber color to go along with your lager, maybe your Yingling, I don't know, or whatever kind of lager you like. There are some green ones. And typically those particular glasses are some that lots of people like. Barware is hot. I've been telling you that over and over again. The other things that are hot, of course, to go off topic, are, of course, supplies for crafts, not only the completed crafts and vintage crafts, but also supplies for crafts. And don't forget, one of the best things that you need, your loop. All of you are showing me, Dr. Laura, I got my loop and it's making me money and it's saving me money. Don't forget the loop, and don't forget how to find the loop. It is easy. It's under the treasure hunting kit on, of course, my shopping page at drloriv.com. You can also go to the shopping page. Right there, go to the Dr. Lori's Treasure Hunts, the Treasure Hunt Toolkit. Click it open. You'll see the loop. Click on that. It will take you, of course, to where you can buy the loop. So don't forget about that. It's easy to do. And I'm going to remind you of something else. A lot of you are sending me emails. I can't do this. I can't do that. Sarah, I'm glad you got your loop. You'll find it's going to be a lifesaver. Dr. Lori, I can't find this. Dr. Lori, this isn't working. Dr. Lori. Hey, read the webpage. I try to make it as simple as possible. Just read it. Read it. You can ask questions. Sure, I want you to ask questions, but please read the webpage, because I probably told you the answer already. So you can, of course, not spend so much of your time. You don't want to waste your time, because I know you have a lot to do. Yeah, Debbie got 2 loops. Who's better than you, Dr. Lalique? Nobody's better than me, baby. You know that. It's just like you. Nobody's better than you. Nobody's better than me. We're great. That loop is amazing. I know. I wanted it to be amazing. You need the tools to do the work. It's like anything else. You need the tools. I want to give you the tools. I'm going to give you this tool from right here. All that education, free. All that experience, free. You know, someone said to me today on a video call, you know, Dr. Lori, I could be you if I had all your experience and all your education. Well, yeah, sure. You know, maybe you'd even be better looking. I don't know. I'm just saying, you've got to be able to use this. I'm telling it to you for free, and I want you to learn it. I want you to get it. Okay, so that's what we want you to look for. I want you to have an understanding of what that is. You know, you have to remember, last year, I evaluated 50,000 objects. 50,000 objects. Thank you, Mick. Thank you for supporting the channel always. I appreciate that. Mick, a wonderful jewelry designer in her own right. Deborah, thank you very much for the super chat, the super stickers too. I thank all of you for them. It supports the channel. I'm glad you love your loops, but a couple of things I want you to remember. 20,000 objects a year. I see so many objects, right? In addition to being able to put that information into use for all of you. Other people aren't looking at these many objects and researching them and going through. This is what I want to do so you guys can learn it. We're very lucky to have the opportunity of the channel. What you can do to help me, since I've helped you, yes, the super chats, the super stickers are a big help, sure. Also, you can share it. Share the channel. Share it with your friends. Go on social media. Hey, I found Dr. Lori. She can help you with this. That's what I need you to do for me. We really need to have the community built. And that will help all of you to allow me to do this even more. And the more I can do it for you, the more I can do the videos, the more, of course, we can all share in the information. So I'm glad you're learning. That's what I like. At the thrift store yesterday, I saw a hinge bracelet with a belt buckle style. It was unmarked, but I was convinced it was sterling. It looked over very well, but nothing. It wasn't magnetic. It could have been sterling. It definitely could have been sterling. A couple of things could have happened. Depending on its age, the sterling mark typically doesn't rub off, but you could have seen the sterling mark actually not be as prominent as typically. You could also see that it could be sterling if you learn what to smell for. Smell for, Dr. Lori? Yeah, sterling has a particular smell. And if you talk to any experts, real experts, you know, like me, they're going to tell you that it actually has a particular smell. And sterling silver also has a particular weight to it. And yes, it could have been sterling silver. I like to look for the marks. It's easier for you to look for the marks. I'm not going to say don't look for the marks, but just like with signatures, it's not only about signatures, and the marks are going to help you. But yeah, it could have been sterling. Okay, I want to talk to you about something else because I've been talking about something else. I'm going to move out the Lalique $1,750 bowl. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that. People are saying, you don't have to thank everybody individually for the super sticker. I'm like, come on. You got to thank everybody. My mama would be so embarrassed if I didn't thank all of you. You're going to be sending me pictures soon. You think I'm afraid of 500 pictures? I'm not afraid of 500 pictures. Send me anything you want. Send me what you want. If you want to do the priority service, it's the best thing out there. Everyone will say it. It is. It's the best thing out there. I'm moving things. I'm sorry. My staff's going to say, why are you moving things, Lori? Well, I got to move some stuff. Okay. I want to talk to you about this particular painting. I'm going to show it to you like this first. I'm going to move this. You know why I'm moving this? Because this is blue. Well, this is blue and this is blue. And it's going to be problematic when you're looking at it. So that's why I want to teach you that. So people are going, oh gosh, he's even thinking of that. I want you to be able to look at it. You know, I've got years and years and years in major museums. The big ones, not, you know, the big museums, so you can understand what I'm looking for. I saw a painting at the thrift store today by Jane Wilton, but I couldn't find any information on him. Well, Jane Wilton, in fact, you won't find too much information on Jane Wilton. Yeah, why? Because you have the wrong name. The name is James Wilton. Okay, now maybe it was a typo, so I don't want to like go after you because maybe it was a typo, but look into that, see if you can't find it, or send me a picture of your piece, front, back, and a close-up of the signature. And if there isn't a signature, that's fine too. Send me the piece and I'll take a look. She's right. She's not afraid of pictures. We sent a bunch. I'm not afraid. Michael, thank you so much for being part of the priority service. If you thought it was great, tell these folks. Anyway, I want to talk to you about a couple of things because I've taught you about what to look for with paintings. And I want to teach you a little bit more about paintings tonight because people will say to me, in the treasure hunt game, yes, we're going to play it with the game, but a couple of things I want you to look for here. And then I want you to remember to look at the back. Always look at the back. What questions do you have about this piece before I get out the Dr. Lori cam? Thank you very much, Veronica, for recognizing the quality of this channel and for, of course, your super chat. It is on board. Can you hear it? It's on board. It's on board. Okay, so it is on board. She's not afraid of any appraisal from Canada. Well, I'm not afraid because I've done it. I know, and I know where to look. And if I don't know, I'm honest enough to say I don't know. And then I research it and find out. You know, that's what you do. You know, that's what they teach you to get the Ph.D. in a field. You know, they teach you to figure out how to get the right answer. Is it oil or it's acrylic? It is oil paint. It's oil paint on board, which is different from panel, which I'll talk about in a minute. So what other questions? It does have a signature, in fact. Let's use the Dr. Lori cam for the signature. See if we can do that like this. Put it here. Am I close? There we go. H. Walker 54. Do you see it? You were all saying to me, Dr. Lori, we can't see. So then my office staff, my technical folks got me the Dr. Lori cam. H. Walker 54. See it? Making more cash. You're welcome, Veronica. I'm glad you're making cash. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that you're making cash. Okay. Let's take a look. Maybe this will help you a little bit. Let's do this. So you can see the whole painting, right? And then as I tell you, let's look at the painting from upper left, across, and go slowly. Take time to look. Across again. And the guy's moving the Christmas tree. Notice the two horses, brown and white. And then one more from here, left to right. Why do I go left to right? Well, I go left to right, and you'll notice that there's the signature, right? I go left to right for a couple of reasons. Well, one of the reasons, thank you, Chris, we love it too. When you read a book, you read it from left to right, upper left to lower right, same way as you read a book, right? So, you know, you're going to read this, you're going to read it from upper left to lower right. That's how you read. That's how you read a painting too. And people are saying, oh, I never knew that. Yes, it's American. Good question. Dr. Lori's treasure hunt. If you saw this, would this be the treasure that you hunted for? Upper left to lower right helps your eye and your brain to identify what's happening in the foreground, in the middle ground, in the background. Notice the two trees act as vertical framers. They are framing what's happening in the middle, which is all the activity. So these two frame your eye. They're kind of like blinders. They tell you where to stay. So your eye just stays within this area, back and forth within the trees. You're not really looking out here, right? You're looking in there. That's what those two vertical framers do, okay? I want you to learn about art. It's fascinating, it's interesting, and there's a lot of money in it. There's a reason why great art collectors will collect art and basically do that to diversify their portfolio, if you will. Okay, I want you to also notice at forms, okay? Notice the big triangle in the middle. Triangles are diagonals, right? Diagonals, like this rooftop. The diagonal actually directs your eye. It shows your eye where to go. Then you have this area right here, what to look for. Here, you're seeing, again, this pathway that's coming in. You see the big blue areas here, these big blue pieces, these big blue areas here, okay? You can see those straight lines. Those lines are kind of diagonal. That pathway is indicative of the American Impressionists. They give them a path, and then you're at that area. It is not paint by number, Chris. That's why you got to keep looking and keep watching this channel. This piece is not Currier and Ives, but it seems like that kind of style, right? It seems like that kind of subject matter, even though it's not that kind of style or movement. So Currier and Ives would be the printers of the late 19th century. We know because it says 54 or 1954 that this is a similar style or subject, similar subject, but not a similar style. So you see that they're getting, of course, the big tree, and they've got the carriage with the horses, and they've got a couple of figures. Notice that the figures are not out of scale. The figures are the right size. That's the other thing I want you to look at. It's not like you've got a big, tall figure that's as big as the covered bridge, right? And then you've got, of course, this. is this a practice demo painting before the actual painting? No. This particular painting is not a demo painting. This particular painting is a standard size for these artists who are actually painting in plein air. The American Impressionists, in fact. None of you asked me who H. Walker is. H. Walker, you probably figured out by now, is an American Impressionist artist, very well known and well known for snow scenes in Pennsylvania. In fact, this particular piece is a typical what's called snow scene by H. Walker. Now, Herbert, in fact. The other thing I want you to see about this particular piece is, of course, the horses. The horses are a good element. They're actually just a repeat image of each other, only in different color. So that's one of the techniques that a lot of artists will use. Snow scenes sell better for the American Impressionists than some of the other seasons. Why? Because of the reflective qualities of snow, the way sunlight will hit snow. And that's interesting too. Notice the red and the green, the colors in between, and those two colors, red and green, are stimulating the optic nerve. I want to teach you what to look for, because when you know what to look for, you will always choose a good painting. You won't choose those starving artist paintings that are everywhere. You won't choose those pieces by people who aren't trained. You're going to choose what's good, what I would choose if I were in the thrift store with you. And you can take me thrift store shopping with you if you want. I go to Goodwill on Sunday, Dollar Day, but every painting, that's $1. And you buy every painting, that's $1. That's a good way to do it too. You just do it by budget. But I want you to look for certain things. What else would I want you to look for? Let's look on the back. I always tell you to look on the back. When you look on the back of the piece, I want you to look for things like, you notice this on this particular side down here. You notice that where the paint is going over? That's a good sign in this particular case. Notice the continuous area of this piece of masonite board, right? So Robert loathes the snow, so he wouldn't buy it. If you knew the value of it, you probably would think about it twice. Maybe you'd like the snow. It's not folk art. It's American Impressionism. And, you know, it's funny. If the French were painting something like this, it would be a great, wonderful, you know, Impressionist painting. If the Americans are doing it, it's folk art, or it's paint by number, or it's something else. Remember, quick application of paint, a thick application of paint, quick brush stroke is one of the tenets, of course, of Impressionist art. This is a very nice painting in a lot of ways. Notice one of the other tricks that they use, and that's these blue lines here on the top of the roof, and those blue lines are reflected here down in the pathway. He didn't always paint on board, but oftentimes these artists would paint outside, right? And they would use board because it was easier to handle during the cold. So where the canvas would then be enlarged later in a studio setting, in this particular case, they would paint it on board, and they would also sell this. But again, it is not one that they were going to only enlarge. So is it the New Hope School? It is based on, there are many schools that are working in this manner. The New Hope School of Pennsylvania Impressionism is one of them. But of course, Herbert Walker is not working with the New Hope School. He is an American Impressionist. This artist is not still living, no. This artist is not still living. This artist painted this work in 1954, which was toward his late career. But a nice piece, a nice piece. Other questions for me? Or should we guess the value? I gave you some tips. Let's guess the value. What do you think it's worth? Are you learning things? Are you having fun? I hope so. I hope so. Dr. Lori's treasure hunt game. Let's see. Are you winning? Are you ahead or are you behind? Let's see. Let's see. $250, Gina. Gina says $250. Okay. I want you to think about a couple of things. There's no frame on it. So you have to think about the fact that a frame has to come on it, right? You have to think about a frame coming on it. That's going to cost you something. $225 is way too low. Way too low. Way too low. There's no frame, so you're going to have to invest in a frame. Is $2,500 too high? Or is Danny closer? What do you think? Don't forget to, of course, subscribe to the channel. That's the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel you could subscribe to so you can learn all of these things, so you can get all the new videos served up. And remember, of course, getting the new videos served up and getting the alerts happens for my subscribers. So I need you to share and subscribe. But for the subscribers, it's very easy. Go, of course, and subscribe. It's the big red button that says subscribe. You have all different devices. I know. Some of you can find the bell. Some of you can't find the bell. find the bell. If you have the bell, ring the bell so you get the alert, so you know what's happening. Because there's all kinds of information here that I'm giving, all kinds of extra information that I'm giving. Okay, not 150, way too low. What's it worth? What's it worth? Well, what's it worth? The retail value based on a sales record for this piece is $1,200. That's right, $1,200 based on actual sales records where similar pieces by this artist have sold. Snow scenes sell a little bit better by this artist than scenes of the fall or the spring or other seasons, of course. So that's interesting. So thank you for being a subscriber on YouTube, and I'm glad you signed up for the newsletter tonight on drloriv.com. If you learned some stuff, I hope you learned some stuff that was fun, but I want to remind you that when you're looking for costume jewelry or when you're looking for pieces of glass or crystal, you know the channel to go to. I'm Dr. Lori. I'll see you next time. Thanks for the super chats and the super stickers. Don't forget the community tab, because that's where more information about this piece and how to identify other fine art is. Go to my community tab. Don't forget. Thanks for being with me. I'm Dr. Lori. I'll see you next time.